going to quickly discuss the art elements. So art elements, here they are here. So you can see them. I try to make them as simple as possible. So the first one is form. The idea is that you give the impression of something being three-dimensional using shading and perspective, like linear and aerial perspective, just meaning that things will foreshorten as they go away, so that, you know, it gives a sense of 3D-ness, let's say, right? You probably get the idea of how that works. Line is pretty obvious. So line, you know, this is a line. But line can also be more of an implicit thing. So, for instance, this is a shape, but the outside of the shape is also a line. So it doesn't have to be a literal line. It can just be it can even be if someone's looking at something, that creates a line, right? So it creates movement and direction from one area to another. Color's pretty obvious, right? So there's a bunch of hues, and it's the way that the light reflects off of the work. Or if you're looking at, such as you are right now, an emissive display, it's shooting the light out at you. It's not reflecting light. The main thing to remember with color is that different colors have different psychological effects. We'll probably cover this a little bit more as we progress, but that's another way to define things. Yeah. Value is the light and dark. Sometimes they'll say tints and shades of a color. So obviously a really dark value versus a really light value, you get the idea. Space. So when we talk about space, we usually mean the entire composition and all the elements within it. So imagine that this was just the composition. So space would not be just the shape that gets filled, the main subject matter. It also means the outside space. So this cone represents the positive space, and the white would be the negative space. And what you want to do is you want to try and balance those. And depending on what you're trying to create, you might want to, if you're really trying to emphasize something, you want to put a lot of negative space around it. And that will make the positive space seem that much more important. Okay. Texture, probably pretty obvious, but the idea here is that in really vague terms, it would mean looking like it has a physical property to its surface. But you could also argue that what it does is it will make the area broken up. So, for example, if you look at this, you can get this shape very quickly and understand it immediately. However, this takes you longer to look through it. And that's why when you see traffic signs, they're always just black silhouettes as opposed to something with texture and a bunch of details in it. So texture can be useful, but obviously can also make things a bit busy.